Hey, I'm Carrie, the Fiber Traveler, and I wanted to get you the information about the sheep, the educational portion. I didn't tie it into the videos because that time constraint of how long the video was or wasn't was stressing me out. So I'm just going to make a different video for it. If you don't want to know about it, you don't have to listen. But this is where I'm getting my information from that I'm sharing with you. So if you want to read up on it yourself, you probably have this book. And if you don't, you should. It's a Fleece and Fiber book. And she also has a video on Craftsy, or at least she used to. It's free, so you can listen to what she has to say. It's pretty long and super informative about different sheep and how she went around and how she made this book, which is amazing. Okay, so the first sheep that I want to talk about was the Tunis sheep, and it's Tunis, not Tunis, like I keep wanting to say, and I know that. They're one of the red sheep with the cream-colored back and body. So from Walhalla Ranch, she gives people that buy fiber from her these really, really great pamphlets. So I'm going to read part of it from here and then part from the book. And we're going to read about the Walhalla stuff a little bit later. The Tunis sheep. Okay. This is from Easy Tunis on Instagram and in her website, and she owns Walhalla Ranch as well as Farm at the End of the Road. It says, because of their wide genetic diversity, these breeds are generally better able to withstand disease, harsh conditions, and to live on pasture than animals that have been bred for only specific purposes. Industrial farms today rely on only a few specialized breeds of livestock, and valuable genetic diversity is in danger of being lost forever. At the present time in the U.S., 60% of all sheep are four breeds and 40% are Suffolk sheep. Within the last 15 years, at least 190 breeds of farm animals worldwide have become extinct, and another 1,500 are at risk. That's pretty crazy. That's why Tunis sheep are now moving among rare, threatened, and watch lists of the Livestock Breeds Conservancy Priority List. The National Tunis Sheep Registry currently reports approximately 1,000 lamb registrations nationwide per year, which is kind of crazy and makes this a really great fleece to work with because it encourages people to have them and for them to come back and be part of our genetic population for animals. So the ancestors to modern Tunis were imported to the U.S. prior to the Revolutionary War and were crossed with local sheep, creating a uniquely American breed. So in the book, it talks about the American Tunis, often called just Tunis, was developed from Tunisian Barbary sheep, an ancient breed that dates back to biblical times. The original Tunisian Barbary sheep came to North America from North Africa in 1799 as a gift to the U.S. government from His Highness the Bey of Tunis. And George Washington is said to have used Tunis ram to rebuild his Mount Vernon flock after he retired from the presidency. They assume that it has a small infusion of Southdown and perhaps Leicester, and it is particularly well adapted to hot and humid climates. It was also popular with other presidents, including John Adams and Thomas Jefferson. So that's why in Arizona she chose to raise Tunis, because it's hot, and these sheep are doing really well. And also she mentioned how they are well bred for being hardy because they're multi-purpose. They weren't raised for just meat or just fleece. And it says for the fiber, the part that we're interested in is favored by hand spinners for its varied natural colors and its lustrous 24 to 30 micron staple, which is 4 to 8 inches long. Ewes typically shear a fleece weighing 6 to 9 pounds. Ram fleeces weigh more. So it talks about how they're pasture fed, they're heat tolerant, and about their meat. So it's really interesting. If you get Tunis sheep, she will send you one of these so you can read it yourself. Or if you get a fiber box from me, I'll send you one of these. And let's see what it looks like. So this is Tunis. And, oops, that's a little fluff of Tunis. Let's see, the staple length, you can see that is about like that, you think? I don't know, this is just a little bit of fluff. So that's pretty long and it's really springy. So that's fun. It has, I don't know about crimp as much as crinkle maybe, but it's also been processed, so it's hard to say. But it is pretty soft. Maybe next to the skin if you're not really sensitive, but definitely for outerwear. And so that's the squishy ball. Let's see. So I spun a bunch of it, and this is from Cupcake, one of her sheep. Can you see it? I am not a technical spinner. I don't know that I can say that enough. But this is pretty consistent, and it had some bumps in it, and I just let them go. So it didn't, some of the other stuff that I spun recently with the other sheep varieties didn't have the kind of clumps that wanted to go through, but that could have been the specific fleece, it could have been the processing. So I would not be against definitely spinning this a lot. And it has a cream color. I don't know if you could see that. It's not white. Like this paper is white. So see the difference? It's really pretty cream color. And I don't think it has a lot of luster. It has a little bit in the sun, but it's a really, really nice. So that is the Tunis. And let's see, who's next? I think the California Red is next, because that we had from Farm at the End of the Road. And let me find in my book where it is, if I haven't already lost the place. It should have been right after it. Here it is, California Red. So the California Red, this is read out of this book again, offers pleasant fiber that wasn't meant to be. The breed was developed in the 1970s out of California University of Davis. He was working on his flock in his off hours, and he crossbred animals, trying to make them just hair animals so he wouldn't have to deal with the fleece and make really good meat animals. But he failed, and they're really pretty fantastic fleece animals. They look similar to Tunis to me, but they have kind of a wider muzzle. Is that what you call it on a sheep? But a bigger nose. I can't really tell them apart unless they're pointed out to me. But the fleece, once it's off, I can definitely tell. And it looks like they're, similar in weight, but the color's different. So this is what the red look like. So you see these, they're not guard hairs though. They're just little pieces of kind of reddish brown hair, but they're wool hairs, I guess, because they're not pokey. They're just a little different texture or consistency to them. So they do kind of, stand on the outside. But this was really fun to spin. It does have a grip to it. And let's see the staple. I pull it off. Well, I guess I can do that. Well, it's a pretty long staple length. And it does have a good grip to it when you spin it. So it's really easy to get, even when I'm just twisting it. Pretty consistent yarn. And I would love a sweater made out of this. Let me show you the yarn. It did soften up a little bit after I applied it and washed it. So I don't know if you can really see the kind of brown in the outside there. It's a natural heathered sort of look. It's really neat. I would love this in a sweater. But this is definitely probably outerwear. It's not real soft unless you have tough skin, which I'm a big sissy. I don't have tough skin. But definitely soft enough for a sweater. I just didn't want it next to my face. California Red. Pretty amazing. And at Farm at the End of the Road, they have some red and some Tunis and some that are both. And those are pretty cool too. So sometime in the future, because at the shearing they had them, you'll be able to acquire some of the mixed breeds, and because it is a hobby farm, so she can mix and match whatever she wants to see how the fiber comes out. And I really like the California Red. I think you should try it. That's a newer sheep breed. Okay. And then, where did it go? There's a Clun Forest. Is it still in the bag? Yeah, it's still in the bag. So I spun this morning. I didn't think I would like it. I'll admit that. It is a mostly meat sheep. And this one she got from a place in Colorado, in Boulder, that is a meat farm. And she acquired the fleeces because they were just throwing them out. And so I thought, meat breed, it doesn't feel very good. I probably won't like it. Wow. It is here, another cream colored fleece. And because these are not bred as fiber sheep, they do have more VM in them, but it tends to fall out. So like an average staple length. But this spun, and like I said, I'm not a technical spinner, so spinning thin is not my thing, but it wants to spin really thin. I don't know if you can see that. So someone who can spin really well and consistently, that would be like frog hair. So even though I don't usually spin thin, it's pretty thin for me, and I haven't plied yet, obviously. Let's see. So this is a single. I mean, it's pretty thin, and let's see if you can. I overspun it because I intend to ply it. So that's pretty good. It's tiny for me, but really pretty and super easy to spin because it does have that grip to it. It's not a slippery yarn. It's not super fluffy, so it doesn't want to just bounce out of what you're wanting it to do. And I don't know if you could see, it's kind of a flat roving. It has, I think she left a little bit of lanolin in it, but that helps kind of keep it together. But it's not as bouncy as some of the other fibers, and that's why I thought I wouldn't like it, but I really do. So that's another neat one. I don't know if she's getting more or not, but she had a lot when I was there. Then my new favorite, let me show you. Oh, I gotta read about the Clune Forest first. Okay, I'm gonna do that first. Clune Forest. I should get so excited. Oh, they're cute because I don't have a picture of them. So again, from the book, they're little black with perky ears. These guys, that's cute. So let's read about Clune Forest, and I have not read this ahead of time, so I'll try to just skip over it. It's from the Woodland Hills on England's western coast. The breed was developed from these native sheep with additions of Hill Dennar, Shropshire, and Kerry Hill sheep in the 1860s. The Clune Forest sheep to arrive in North America were imported from Ireland in 1959, but those animals disappeared. Then in 1970, Nova Scotia shepherd Tony Turner, who had recently immigrated to Canada from Wales, imported 40 ewes and 2 rams. So in the 70s, it sounds like this came over, but it was an older breed from England and Ireland. It says, Clune Forest is an ideal fiber for making textiles that are both comfortable and able to stand up to some abuse. Perfect for mittens. What Shetlanders called a haps shawl. Not the delicate showpiece, but the one you throw on every cool day or evening to keep your shoulders warm. So it was used for making industrial felts and wool-filled futons. Interesting. So the fleece weight is 4.5 to 9 pounds. Staple length is 2.5 to 5 inches, which, looked pretty average when we looked at it. Generally 3 to 4. It says they're roughly 25 to 28 microns. Although American Sheep Industry says 28 to 33, which is more what I would think. It's not super soft, but again, I think it's definitely outerwear. And because it spins so thin and it holds its shape, I'm guessing it would be good to hold its shape too if you were knitting patterns with it or lace, because it is stronger. And yeah, the natural colors are white. There are no Kemp or colored fibers in it. Cool. So, it has a thing about the fairies of Clune Forest. So if you have this book, read that, because who doesn't love fairies? I love fairies. Okay, Clune Forest. Check. You should try it. My favorite that I think I'm going to buy all of from her is East Frisian. It's a down breed. It's fluffy. Okay, I didn't buy very much. I didn't know if I'd like it, but I love it. This pictures are not going to do it justice, but okay. So it has kind of an average staple length again, but it's really fluffy and bouncy. And again, I was able to get a really consistent yarn out of it. So this is what I spun this morning and plied it. You can't really see just how beautiful this is. It's has like kind of a, not halo to it, doesn't have enough of, but kind of glows or something. Let's see, where's the white paper? So this is a whiter breed than the others that were more cream colored. So that's really pretty. I'm going to try to dye some of this when I get more of it. And I would definitely love to wear this. It's really squishy. So let's read about this, and then I'm going to tell you about the farm at the end of the road, which all of these are available from. East Friesian. They also come in the dark color, which would be great to find, but it says it's a German dairy sheep, sometimes referred to as a Holstein sheep. There are actually several types of Friesians from the area where Germany, Belgium, and the Netherlands come together. The German variety is the East Friesian breed, recognized in 1936 and imported to Canada in 92. So this is pretty recent, and into the US in 93. So with the emphasis on dairy production, this wool is an afterthought. Ooh, maybe we can find more from, there's a lot of, maybe not sheep's milk. I guess there's more goat milk right now, but you never know. It may be as fine as 26 microns, which I believe. I don't think that this one is quite that fine, but it is really soft. But for the most part, it is coarser. The staples we spun were 30 micron neighborhood, give or take. It has a nice bounce and body to them, which is what I thought. So, yeah, Hornfex, that's a different breed. So this is the dark one. But of course, the one I have is white. So that's pretty cool. I wonder if we'll get some of this in the future from the farm, because she never is sure what she's going to get, since most of her fiber comes from hobby farms of small people just want to buy sheep. They're cute, because they are. And so she gets those. So there we go. That's the overview of the sheep samples that I got and how they spun up. So the other thing I wanted to tell you about was what she says about the farm at the end of the road. The Walhalla is hers, and those are Tunis, because that's what she's interested in furthering the breed. And the farm at the end of the road are all the small farms in the area. I like what she says at the end. She says, locally sourced fiber, the end result. Everyone benefits. Like any well-plied yarn, animals, producers, and fiber artists are all benefit by working together. We are always learning and making plans for new quality products. She partners with a lot of the people in the area, which provides access to a dependable stream of fleeces that we could grow more than we could grow ourselves. It's important because what we can collect throughout the state varies widely from year to year. So it helps, keep these breeds around. It says, by networking with owners and local shearers, we have developed access to a wide variety of fleeces and fibers far beyond what we are able to grow ourselves. Okay, we decided if we could see the sheep shorn and return home in one day, the fleece was qualified as locally grown, notwithstanding the week-long trip to Cunnington Farms in Moab, which has some really great fiber too, in Utah, because they have over 60 sheep. And locally sourced fiber from the farm at the end of the road will always be unique. We may never have a second chance at a given breed's fleece or to blend a particular combination of fibers. This gives you a chance to explore fibers you may not otherwise have access to or be in your budget. Your support of this particular fiber line gives you a chance to be a key part of the wool circle, knowing that the fleece is sold and the shearing is paid for as a nudge to farmers who might not otherwise raise unconventional breeds, so that the sheep and goat gene pool remains a tiny bit more diversified and landfill less stressed. So I think this is a great mission. It's right along my way of thinking, and yours too, if you're following what I'm doing. So it's about, although she is not technically local, I still think US is local in a sense, and she's just barely outside of our 300-mile radius of our plains and mountains and plains fiber shed that's based in Golden. But I think it's great because hopefully I can find more of this at other places, but she's one of 2 or 3 right now in Arizona. So hopefully this breed will come back and will be great, specifically the Tunis, but all of them. I'm really excited about it. So if you have any questions, let me know. And if I can't answer it, or you don't want to ask me the question, something really technical, skip me and go right to Sonia at aztunis.com. Tunis.com. I said it again. And she can answer your questions. Super nice lady. It was a great trip. And there is your 4 sheeps in a nutshell. The fiber I got from Elena at Cactus Hill, she was really low on fiber, which is a great problem for her to have. And she's shearing the end of the month. So we'll be seeing some new stuff coming from her flock of 300 sheep right now. But I did buy one that was mixed. It was a Romney and Columbia, and the mill she sent it to misunderstood what she wanted, and so she milled both types of fleeces together so they weren't a single breed roving at the end, and so she didn't really know what to do with it. So I bought it all, and that's going to be, I think, my staple. I'm just going to use that for my dye pots when I'm learning natural dyeing, to try to just have a consistent array of colors with one type of sheep. I'm going to put some of this other stuff in there too, but that's for a different purpose. Thanks a lot for listening. It was a little long-winded, and hopefully you're inspired to research more on your own. And thanks a lot. Until the next trip.